Hi, welcome to live stream Yoga with Louise, tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. Today, I'd like you to make each moment on the mat as unique and beautiful as a snowflake. We are going to be taking one of our classes from last week and fashioning it into more of a robust practice that incorporates core strength and stability, inversions, arm balances, and body opening movement. As always, play when you're comfortable, modify when you need to, rest when you need to. You ready? Let's hit the mat. We are going to begin today's practice coming into child's pose. Preferably feet in a parallel line, but if you prefer, you can do feet together, knees slightly wider. You're going to nod forward to floor, and then you're going to relax your forearms on the mat, either alongside the body, or you could fist the two hands together and make a little tripod for yourself if you prefer. So don't be afraid to experiment and see what works for you. Take a few moments here just breathing into the back of your ribs and making your bum bones as heavy as you can towards your heels. And then let's start playing with some light inversion, maybe dragging your hands back and checking that they're halfway between your head and your knees. We're going to start to roll onto the crown and back to the forehead. Wake up your crown chakra. And when you're ready, see if you can hold the weight on your crown for a few soft breath cycles, pressing away from the mat with both your palms and the crown and trying to lengthen the length of your neck, not compress it. You can do this on the forearms as well if you prefer. Then bring the weight back to your forehead. Stay here in child pose or use this as an opportunity to come onto the haunches and find your balance. Maybe think 4-point kneeling, tuck your toes under, pull the knees off the floor. Walk your weight back onto the haunches, fingertips on the floor or hands off. Looking for balance, looking for control, activating that core and keeping it working. Lead your way back down to child pose when you're ready. We're going to add the next progression. Checking that our hands are halfway between the head and the knees, or using forearms on the floor. You're going to rock back onto your crown. You're going to tuck your toes under. You're going to begin to pike your bum up, and you're going to come up tiptoe position, balancing on the tips of your toes, straightening up your back line, looking for strength, looking for control, holding once you've found it. Pull that belly button in, activate your core. Walk your way back to child pose when you're ready. Give yourself a few quiet moments here. Stay or find your way onto the haunches. Tucking your toes under, seeing if you can bring the hands off the mat. Maybe you want to release your wrists. Maybe you want to release your fingers. Back to child pose as we add the next layer of the onion. Pick the arm line that works for you on the forearms or on the hands. Rock the weight off your forehead and onto your crown. Tuck your toes under. Pike your bum up. Start to walk the legs in. Bringing one knee off the floor. Seeing if the second leg will come into a little tuck, holding in a tight little ball tuck. Look for balance, look for control. Find your way back down to child pose. Give yourself a moment, allowing the blood pressure to just gently come back to homeostasis. Stay here chilling in child pose or find your way onto the haunches, tucking your toes under, walking the weight back, hands off the mat, releasing your wrists or your fingers if you need to. Let's go back one last time, maybe looking for full extension through the legs this time, and you can do this against the wall if you prefer. Set up your child. Pick the arm line on the forearms or the hands that work for you. Roll the weight onto your crown. Tuck your toes under. Pike your bum up. Walk the legs and the feet in. Straighten up the back line. Connect to your core. Start to bring the legs into your small little tuck. And then look for extension, toes to sky. Come down with control, finding your way back into child pose. Pausing there for a few moments. Then bleeding your way back to the haunches. Bringing the hands off the mat, giving them a little release. Then walking your way from here into a bear hold. Think 4-point kneeling, but knees off the mat and using belly to spine to keep those knees off the mat. Walk your hands back towards your legs. Ground your feet, hands on the floor or hands on your legs as you bend and extend through the knees, waking up the back chain of the legs, maybe extending and holding. Walk back to bed, 4-point kneeling with a hovering knee. Activate that belly center, make it work for you. Walk your hands back towards your legs, hands on the floor or hands on your legs as you bend and extend. Maybe looking for more length, maybe looking for more stretch, holding that extended leg line if you can. Shifting the weight between the balls and the heels of your feet. Holding midway, intensifying that stretch. Let's find our bear one last time. Don't collapse between the two shoulders. Press the mat away, lengthen your arms. Pull the belly button in. Keep that core active. and strong. Then walk back into your forward fold, Uttanasana, one last time. Look for a nice deep fold. Allow the blood to pool in the head as you invert. We're going to walk our way from here onto the knees. And we're going to take a lizard step out on the left, splaying the foot softly out, placing our hands so that they're stacking underneath the shoulders, tucking the back toe under. We're going to lean forwards into the wrist, and then we're going to lean back, bum to heel, and we're going to start to play. We played with this one yesterday, and we're using it again. Alternating between a little lizard lunge forward and a little hamstring stretch, walking the hands front and back as you need to. Ending in the seat. Working that little toe breaker stretch on the back foot, getting into all those tight spots, opening up behind each toe into the arch of the foot. Then come back to your lizard and take your right hand wide. Maybe thumb in, fingers out to the side is going to be easier. You're going to replicate that line with both hands. You're going to take the hands nice and wide. We are going to step the back foot through. Going to come into a little balance and bring that left hand off the mat so you've made space to walk through. And then back to your hamstring seat. Do that maybe 5 times, looking for balance, looking for control, making it seem effortless. Find your way into your hamstring stretch. One last time. And then bring your extended leg in. Find your way back onto the haunches. Ground your feet and tuck your hands, palms up underneath your feet, keeping a bend in the knees or straightening up the legs as you gently rock the weight between the balls and the heels of your feet, coming into a beautiful gorilla stretch, Padahastasana. Stretching the arms, the legs, the spine. Walk your way back out into your lizard line. This time we're going to play on the right side. So right leg splaying out. You're going to lean front. You're going to lean back. Tucking the toe of the back foot under or keeping it relaxed. You're going to find a gentle rhythm oscillating between that forward lean and that back lean. Keeping that front leg splayed out in the turnout position so you're feeling that delicious wrap around not only the back but the inside and the outside of your lead leg. And if you're ready to play, you're going to open up the hands a little bit wider. We're going to do that little step through and back to your hamstring stretch. Readjust on the mat as you need to, conditioning into the tips of your fingers, taking the pressure off the wrists. Ending in your hamstring stretch. And then bleeding your way from your hamstring stretch into your little gorilla stretch. Tucking your hands, palms up underneath your feet. Legs extended or small micro bend in the knees if you need it. Rock the weight. Come to stillness, hold it. Then walk your way from here into a plank line. Strong and controlled. Lizard step left, lizard step right, deep squat, hands off the mat and reaching. Back to plank, walking back legs one at a time. Hold. Step right lizard, step left lizard, low squat, hands off. Reverse your way back to plank. Stay here playing with the walk through or make your movement more challenging by doing a little froggy hop. Wide into deep squat and froggy hop into plank. Play with it. Landing softly on the balls of your feet every time. Both as you hop front and hop back. We're going to do one more to end in the deep squat. Hands reaching, bum bones heavy. And then find your way from here into a wide fold. Fingers to floor, square up your feet on the outer edges of your mat and fold forward. Maybe wrapping around the inside of your ankles or the inside of your calves or higher up along the chain of the leg, almost pulling your crown towards the floor. Grasping the inseam of your legs with your hands and giving a gentle tug. We're going to find our way from here back into our plank line. You can step or hop. And then you're going to start to give me a little knee up switch, leg to leg. We're going to end with the right knee up, hold it. One-legged plank. Transition into a three-legged dog. Brace into your foot. And then soften the toe and reach. Back to a knee up plank switch. We're going to end left knee up, hold it. Transition into a three-legged dog, brace into the left foot. And then soften and reach through the left toes. Transition to a down dog from here. And hold your down dog. Stretching arms, stretching legs, stretching spine. Now see if you can come to the tips of your fingers. Soften your knees. Take a hop up, landing with your feet underneath your hips and coming into a forward fold. Hands to floor or hands to legs. Start to play. Hopping or stepping between this forward fold and a down dog. Maybe 5 or 6 times. Pausing for a little stretch through the legs each time. High spider fingertips takes the pressure off the wrists. Remember to land softly on the balls of your feet every time. End in the forward fold, hold it. Stay in this forward fold, Uttanasana, or find your way into crow pose from here. We're going to soften through the elbows, hug them in towards the center line. We're going to come into the tips of our toes, lifting the hips. We're going to try to tuck the knees into our armpits. We're going to look off the front of the mat. We're going to bring 1 and maybe 2 feet off the mat, coming into crow Bakasana. Squeeze the elbows in, press into the digit of each finger, and if you lose your balance, that's okay. We're going to find our way from here into puppy pose, relaxing onto the forearms, thinking bum to sky, maybe walking the feet in, allowing the crown to hang like a little bell off the floor. Staying here in your puppy or finding your way into baby crow by softening through the knees, starting to walk the knees in, dropping them towards your armpits, resting on your triceps, bringing your feet off the mat and hovering your nose and your face an inch or 2 off the floor. And back to your quarter dog or your dolphin, pressing off the forearms. Maybe you can walk your way into an elbow plank and hold it. Relax knees, shins and feet to the floor, coming into a beautiful Sphinx stretch through the spine. Press away from the forearms and grow the line of your spine. Start to reconnect more of your belly to the mat as you gently walk the arms up, coming into a small chest lift with maybe 1 or 2 ribs still connected to the mat and high spider fingertips out in front of you. We're going to creep our hands off center to one side, just as far as your back will allow. Hold that off center creep. Maybe bringing the arm of the side that you've creeped towards and just reaching it from the mat behind you. Then reconnect both hands to the mat as you walk your way back to the center. We're going to do the same to the second side. So you're going to find your off-center creep. And then the side that you've walked towards, you're going to take the arm on that side of the body, you're going to bring it off the mat, and you're going to reach for your toes or the end of your mat. Then creep your way back. Bleed down onto the mat and open up your body into a little T-frame on the mat. We're going to do palm down, legs are relaxing parallel. Then roll onto your right temple, looking towards your left arm. Bend the left arm, place the fingertips or the palm alongside your bosom. Roll onto your right shoulder, coming into a slight chest lift, knife edging and tapping. Then bleed back down, this time onto your left temple. Repeat the exercise on the right. And start to find a working, rolling, shoulder opening play. Remembering to rock gently onto one temple, looking towards the arm that you're bringing in, rolling onto the opposite shoulder, and getting a nice little bit of supine twist as you bring one leg off the mat to tap to the floor behind you. Work it dynamically. Find a rhythm that makes sense for you. Find your way back to neutral. Bend the elbows, place the palms alongside your bosom and press back into an extended child pose. We're going to try to keep the legs in that soft parallel line as we press back, bum to heel, press into your palms, stretch from the line of the palms all the way to your shoulders. Maybe you even allow that stretch to travel down the line of the trunk to your lower back, to your bum bones. Take a big breath in, and on an exhale, thread the right arm underneath the left. You're going to slide it through palm up. You're going to take a little rest here on your right ear. Come back into extended child. And then bringing your trunk with you, you're going to start to creep or walk off center to the left as far as your back wants to play. You're going to hold that stretch, gently pressing into both palms. Stay or thread the needle from here, taking your right arm, tucking it underneath your left, gently coming to rest on the left ear or the left temple, right ear or right temple. And then maybe you can bring your left hand off the mat and reach for the undercarriage of your left foot, giving it a good grasp and sort of pulling into center with that hand. Then bleed or walk your way back to the center. Stretching those arms as long as they will go, pressing into the palms, making your bum bones heavy, pausing here for a moment. Then big breath in, thread the left arm underneath the right, Sukhi Vandasana, coming to rest on your left ear, temple. Extending both arms out in front. And then when you're ready, taking a little creep walk to the right and bringing your trunk with your arms. Creeping as far as your body wants to go and then pausing, pressing into both palms gently and breathing into the open side of your ribs. Stay here or thread the needle from here, taking your left arm, tucking it underneath your right and trying to come to rest on the left side of your head. Stay here or bring the right arm off the mat and reaching for the undercarriage of your right foot and hugging it into center. Then bleed, walk your way back to the center, arms long and extended in front, pressing into the palms, pressing your bum bones back towards your heels and taking a delicious extended child stretch here, balasana. From here, we're going to change our orientation on the mat so that we've got more mat along both sides of the body to play with. We're going to position ourselves in the middle of the mat, lying on the belly, legs extended behind us, with enough room to come into frog pose from here. So you want to have some mat underneath the knees to support the knees. If you'd like support for your arms as well, and you've got a second mat or a hand towel that you can put underneath the hands or the forearms, you can do so. All right. So we're more or less in the center of the mat with equal play on both sides. And let's start low to the mat, stacking our forearms and just relaxing to our forearms. We're going to bring the right leg out and we're going to fashion ourselves a little frog with the knee and the ankle in a long lined up line. And we're going to knife edge that foot and we're going to hold here. Either staying low to the mat, resting on our stacked arms, or finding your way into a sphinx-like line, pressing off your forearms and your palms. You could even extend the arms and think extended cobra line if your back will allow for it. Hold. Then find your way back to your stacked forearms and change legs. Taking a moment to take a look, check your knee, check your ankle, check your foot. Pause for a moment, just finding the stretch into the groin area on the left. Stay here on your stacked arms or bleed your way into a sphinx-like stance, pressing off your forearms, opening up the space between your two shoulder blades and not sinking between the two. Maybe you can walk the arms into extension and think higher cobra-like line. Then drop back to the forearms. Bend your legs one at a time and find your way into a narrow kneel, squeezing the energy between the legs together. We're coming into the camel. You can use the L frame between your index finger and thumb to hook around the waist. Bump your hips forward over your knees and hold the stretch. Open up beautifully through your throat and your chest center. Bump the hips forward over your knees. Stretch into the tops of your thighs, your belly, your chest, the underside of the throat. Then keep those two legs squeezing together, but straighten up your body line, lining shoulders, hips, knees, relaxing your arms alongside the body and nodding chin to chest. You're going to keep this narrow stance and you're going to think of coming into a modified 4-point kneel, hands wide, legs narrow. We're going to extend the right leg out, big toe more or less in line with our left knee. And then we're going to start to slide the leg off the mat and see how far we can take it. We're going to set up that half frog line on the other side. So just walk the hands up. Start high on the hands. Keep allowing that leg to gently slide out. Maybe you can find your way onto the forearms. Maybe you can stack. Keep a half frog line, that didn't want to work, on the left, and just extend and slide right. Bleed your way back to the forearms, back to the palms. Creep, slide, walk back in. Find that narrow kneel. Find your way into your narrow supported camel. Then straighten up your body line. Let's try that on the left. So you're thinking narrow 4-point kneel. We're going to slide the left leg out and away. As it slides, we're going to sit up on front line on the right. We're going to start on the palms. We're going to maybe find our way onto the forearms. Taking a moment to appreciate each unique snowflake. Maybe finding your way onto a stacked forearms. Reversing your path up. Sliding back into center. Finding that narrow stance on the mat. Leading your way into a narrow camel stretch, Ustrasana. Then realigning, stacking your body in one long line, relaxing chin to chest. We're going to come back into that narrow 4-point kneel and we're going to see if we can walk the legs out into a full frog. So you're walking the knees up, creeping them out as far as they will go, and then look over your right shoulder, check your leg line on the right, knee ankle in one long line with the foot knife edged, and check your line on the left. Don't force it. So if the hips are feeling tight, just be gentle. We're going to start with the arms extended, and we're going to rock front and back. Gently use the back stroke as your pause and hold. That's where the ouch happens. And then use the forward lean as your light comic relief. Then come to stillness somewhere between the forestroke and the backstroke and think of coming into a really wide childlike position. So keep your knees as wide as you can and start to bring the two big toes in, maybe touching them behind you. I'm going to try to wiggle myself onto the mat and then taking a seat. You can keep fingers on the floor or you can just relax them so you're almost in the beginnings of a split line, if you like. Then try to find your way from this really wide childlike line into more of a traditional thunderbolt by placing hands on the floor, but you need to make space for your knees and maybe creeping in the legs one at a time. Sitting back, bum to heel. And just taking a moment here, allowing for a neutral spine. Arms just super, super relaxed and on your lap. When you're ready, let's go back for more. All right, we're going to creep those legs out. We're going to find the widest knee stance that we can manage on the mat. So you're going to creep up really gently. And then when you're out as wide as you can go, take a look over your right shoulder, check the positioning of your right leg, check over your left shoulder, check your alignment on the left leg. Stay here, arms extended, or find your way onto the forearms. Start to rock front and then back with a pause. Try to hold the backstroke a little bit longer than the forestroke because that's where the magic, that's where the opening happens. Listen to your body, work with care. Let's try to end in the backstroke and hold it for a slow count of 10. Release to neutral, walk your way onto the palms, extending your arms, and then bringing those toes in, walking your weight back, finding a seat, fingers on the floor, or fingers just relaxed to the tops of your thighs. Allow for a neutral spine and just breathe, inhaling and exhaling gently through your nose. All right, fingers on the floor, and you can readjust them as you need to. You're going to delicately bring those legs in. Squeezing knees, squeezing feet together, and sitting back into thunderbolt. Conditioning the tops of your ankles, the tops of your feet. Maybe adding to your work here by slipping the fingertips to the floor behind you, walking your way back, and seeing if you can lift the knees off the mat. So you're really working into the ankles and the tops of your feet. If this is too painful for you, omit this stretch and just chill out in thunderbolt. All right, let's go back one last time. So when you're ready, you're going to start to walk your legs out, looking to take the widest knee stance that your body will allow for right now without forcing it. Take a check over your right shoulder, check your leg line. Take a look over your left shoulder, check your leg line. You're going to stay here on the hands, or you're going to find your way back to the forearms. And we're going to take a little off-center arm and trunk creep to the left, just as far as your body will allow. You're going to hold, breathing into the open side of your ribs. Maybe bringing the left arm off the mat and reaching for your left ankle or your left foot, or maybe just your left calf or left knee. Work carefully, work delicately, appreciate each snowflake of movement. Then when you're ready, start to walk back to center. We're going to find that off-center creep to the right. We're going to pause, breathing into the left side of our ribs. And if the stretch becomes too intense, just release. Maybe you can bring the right arm off the mat, reach for your ankle or your foot or your knee. And when you're ready, walk back to center. Find your way back onto the palms. Start to slide the big toes in. Start to sit back into your wide child. Prasarita Balasana. Make your bum bones really heavy. Breathe into that uncomfortableness. And when you're ready, find your way into Thunderbolt, delicately walking those legs in, squeezing the knees and the feet together. I'm just going to give you a side view of the body. So we're coming into a narrow Thunderbolt and we're sitting back, bum to heel, allowing for a neutral spine position. Staying here or looking for an opportunity to walk the hands back, lifting your knees off the mat, working into those ankles. Excuse me. Back to Thunderbolt, or you can pick a different seat that resonates with you to end off today's practice. Hands can be relaxed, palm down or palm up. You could even come into a mudra through the fingers of your choice. I'm going to keep my hands relaxed and open. I'd like you to close your eyes, take your focusing word, and think of your keyword for today's practice, which was the word snowflake. This present never ages. Each moment is like a snowflake, unique and needing to be appreciated for its own surprises. You too are like a snowflake, unique and needing to be appreciated for your own surprises. With those thoughts, end off your practice by nodding chin to chest on the words Namaste. See and appreciate your own uniqueness before you can see and appreciate it in others. Namaste to you. Thank you so much for coming out and snowflaking with me. Till next time, keep it light.